Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I filmed something a little different. Some people had asked me, hey, why did you quit overhead pressing? And I want to let guys know I only quit overhead pressing for about a month. I started overhead pressing again last week, and as I explained to you guys before, in my current system, I am actually dedicating a whole day to overhead pressing, which I started doing last week, and it's what I did today. Now, a lot of guys are going to go, man, you're really weak right now on your strict press, and that's what I'm doing. This is no push press, no leg drive. This is paused off the chest. Now, a lot of people say, well, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing your clean and press and your push presses? Because I know this is a weak link for me. I want to rebuild my bench press. I feel like for just overall development, for just, showing off on YouTube. Let's be honest here, guys. I'm a YouTuber. I'm getting leaner. Definitely getting leaner, and it's still coming along. I'm really happy with my progress. Actually, my progress on my cut's going so well that people are accusing me of using a girdle in my workout videos. That's how effective my cut has been. So I'm going to take that as a really big compliment. If people think I'm wearing a girdle, my cut must be going spectacular. So awesome. And guys, remember, eventually, once I start doing some shirtless videos, eventually, when everything's tightened up enough, I think those rumors are going to go away too, and then those people are going to look like really silly asses, but I'll take the compliment. So I'm not going to lie, I'm weak right now on this lift. This lift is a weak link for me. I don't like it. I am not built to do strict presses, all right? I have really long arms. I have an old bicep tear that can make locking out a little bit hard for me sometimes. So some of those on that third rep, I'm trying to lock it out and hold it for a second. But for some people, like, man, as far as you can lock out, sometimes that is. And it's my left elbow becomes an actual issue itself. And it's even with an empty bar. So it doesn't matter how much weight I put on there. But I'm hoping the more of this I do, the better that's going to get. But the whole point is, I'm pretty weak on this. I'm doing strict presses, standing presses with 175 for my work sets. 175. That's not particularly impressive for a guy my size. But you know what? I'm not built for it. But rather than use that as an excuse would be, you know what? I've got long arms. This exercise is really hard for me. So I'm just going to suck at it. And you know what? I don't like excuses like that. That's just like people who say, I have long legs so I can't squat. No, you need to quit being a pussy and you need to get strong on the squat is what you need to do. So what? You have longer legs. You won't squat as much as the next guy at the same body weight with 2-inch shorter femurs than you. Okay, and? So it's the same explanation with my strict standing press. You know what? I'm not very good at it. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to whine and complain about it, or am I going to focus on it and get strong as hell on it? How about I do that instead? Now, one of the things you're going to notice when I'm performing this exercise, and I'll roll through more clips of it. This is just my straight workout all the way through, and at the end I'll put more clips in so we can further discuss this. But you guys are going to notice around that fifth set, I'm really struggling with the first rep. And that's for some reason, lack of speed strength off my chest on the first rep. And my second and third rep are actually easier. My second rep is easier than my first rep every time. Now, what am I going to attribute that to? Weakness. That's what I'm going to attribute it to. How do you fix that? Do more dead stop training off your chest with it. And you know what? If I'm weak off the chest on the strict press, I'm going to be weak off the chest on the bench press. So if I get stronger at this, it is going to carry over to my bench press, in addition to just being an all-around great full body athletic exercise. I mean, the strict press, it's hard to show off on this lift. You'll see guys who will cheat. You see guys who get on camera, I'm not going to name any names, and they start with the camera with the bar halfway up. You don't know where they pressed it from, because they don't show the bottom of the lift. I've seen there's someone who does that already, who tries to, he and I have a little bit of a beef, not going to name names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. We never seen him actually touch his chest or the top of his shoulders on an overhead press, so who knows what he can do. But that's the hard part. Now here's the thing, my tricep work is paying off, because on my push presses, my triceps would be throbbing sometimes. I didn't feel anything in my triceps on these strict presses. I felt nothing but my shoulder girdle and my upper chest. So it's like, let's keep moving forward on these skull crushers. So here I am. I increased the weight. You guys saw my bench workout. I only did 105. Today I did 115, and I did 2 sets of 8. And yes, they were hard. They were hard. So those are 35s on there right now. I'm doing 115, but you know what? That means my triceps are getting stronger. My triceps are growing. So the question becomes, why this sort of tricep exercise if it's not a weak link in my overhead press? Because I don't want it to become one. What people need to remember, sometimes when you bring up a certain muscle, if it's an easy muscle to bring up, like the triceps, for example, smaller muscle, all right, again, not going to add much body weight to bring it up, and you can never really have triceps that are too big. It's not like big triceps are going to push you out of a weight class. Are you really going to add a pound of muscle to your triceps? I don't think so. Ounces at best. That's a tiny muscle, really, in the grand scheme of things. So this particular variation of the skull crusher is fantastic for the strict overhead press as an accessory. So here's kind of the point we come to when it comes to accessory exercises. All right, we know the strict press is a fantastic accessory for the bench press. There's not one strength and conditioning coach I've ever heard of who will disagree with that. If your strict press improves, your bench press will improve. Well, we kind of go to what the West Side type guys say. Louis Simmons, Dave Tate, what do those guys say? Well, okay, so if you know that you have a big basic exercise that's a great accessory for one of your primary exercises, what do we do to build that exercise? All right, and this form of skull crusher that works the long head like I'm doing is a fantastic accessory to bring up a possible weak link in your overhead press. And if your triceps are so strong in those positions on the overhead press that they never become a weak link, it really allows your upper chest and your shoulder girdle, your delts and everything to be the limiting factor, particularly in getting it started off the bottom, because you know your triceps can lock it. So if you do that, that will bring it up. So that's what we're doing. And again, I'm doing my standing crunches, which you guys are familiar with. I do these. It's just an all-around accessory. A lot of other people do standing crunches. Louis Simmons, even Johnny Candido. I believe Johnny Candido, this is his preferred exercise, and he is one hell of a strength athlete, at least power lifter. So again, choose your accessories wisely. And I talk a lot about standing crunches. We don't need to talk about that further. So let's talk a little bit more about the strict press. I'm going to throw in some more footage of it. All right, a couple questions people are going to have about this exercise. Again, some of these, because of the camera angle, you can't see my hands, so you'll have to vary it from clip to clip because we have different angles. You guys will notice, not necessarily on this one, but on the next one in the rotation, I use a false grip. Now, people say, why a false grip? We use a false grip for shoulder protection. People who grip the bar hard with their thumbs under on the overhead press, you are more likely to injure your shoulders. You're more likely to injure a rotator cuff. This is an exercise to where you want your wrist and your elbows to be able to rotate freely. All right, and the whole reason is, notice that my elbows are pointed a bit forward at the bottom. Elbow tuck, just like we tuck our elbows on the bench press, you can tuck them at the bottom of a strict press. And it doesn't matter whether it's a strict press, whether it's a push press, whatever it happens to be. Having the elbows a bit forward, because notice how I rack right there when I come up to it. I've got it racked. I don't have my thumbs under. I don't have my elbows pulled way back behind. Elbows are forward at the start. Elbows are forward at the start. That will protect your rotator cuffs more. It's the safest way to perform the exercise. Notice my hands are shoulder width. Shoulder width should be your starting position. You can adjust from there based upon leverages. But shoulder width is going to give you a slightly longer range of motion. Now, I have long arms, so I already have a long range of motion. But if we want to maximize our delt development and our upper chest development from this exercise, you want the longest range of motion possible. And we want to do so while keeping our shoulders safe. Notice again, my arms rotate out on the way up. Now, some people will be like, well, when you've got your elbows like that, it's not as great for building the delts or the side delts and everything at the bottom. Okay, but it is at the middle, isn't it? Once you start moving the weight, aren't they under tension at that point? All right, well, there you go. If it protects your rotator cuffs, why do you care if it's not the best side delt exercise at the bottom? It's working other muscles, and you're working multiple big muscles. It turns it into a big basic mass builder, not a finesse movement. And that's the whole point. That's the purpose of the strict press, is to make you strong as hell in multiple muscle groups. And that's the idea. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.